Guys, seriously, it's not Omnicrons, it's Omicrons, like Omi-Wan Kenobi, not Omni-Wan Kenobi. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're gonna update our Omicron list. The infographic is even nicer this time, if I do say so myself. And huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. And just a reminder, folks, if you want to mount the algorithm, all you've got to do is subscribe, comment, ding the bell, guys. It's like an infographic, except it's an algorithm and not very similar to an infographic at all. You know, here's a quick run through of all my thumbnails of when I've done videos to rank Omicrons. They've been so important to the community over time. It's very interesting to me how, this is something I get asked to do a lot. And I'm always like, guys, no one's gonna watch this. This is crazy. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes we get more views than you might think. Here's the infographics that I've been making. This is old school. This is in March of 2022. And then November and February this year, April, and then this is my current one. So if you guys want to get your hands on one of these infographics, go to my Discord server. It's linked in the video description. So let's get over there, guys. Let's go to the... Whoa, we're in the infographic madness. Alright, guys. So here, I'm going to turn off my face for you. I'm very sorry for that. You guys don't deserve that kind of cruel punishment. But, guys, I mean, you could take a screenshot now. It's not going to be high resolution. This is free. Go to my Discord server. Go and get it. It's available for free, guys. You can see that we have... Well, here, let's zoom in. I'll show you a couple of the features, alright? So they're ranked between Grand Arena Territory Wars and PVE because there's just not any way to... we don't want to just... we don't want to have them compete with each other. You're gonna have to make your own decision on that front, guys. So, let's see. So zooming in here, we have, here's the key. So all of if they're ringed with white, that just means that there's nothing extra or interesting about them. If they're ringed with green, that means they're a new character since the last time we ranked them. Yellow just means that they're horrible. It's the ring of shame. And then you can see that some of them need an extra note. So there's only 5 of them, I guess, that have notes, but you guys can go and read them. And then we just have a picture of Drogon and of, what's his name, Malicos here. They're coming soon, but we're not ranking them. I would say be prepared to get all 3 Omicrons for Malicos. It seems like maybe he's going to want them. That being said, let's talk about Grand Arena ones, guys. So we're ranking them a little bit differently right now. Here, zooming out again on the left-hand side, instead of the S tier and A and B in the grades, just more, I don't know. This is a little bit more practical of like, these Omicrons you should apply as soon as you can, with the caveat of course, if it makes sense for your roster and, you know, if Territory Wars, if your guild isn't doing Territory Wars much, maybe just don't apply that many of them, honestly. But that being said, let's go back in. So Starkiller, that there's a no-brainer. The unique is probably the best, most impactful Omicron in the game. The blue here are for new players, they're new player friendly, the ones that you could apply immediately. So Wampa, amazing value on his Omicron. Of course, it solos a lot of stuff. It just it still does well for me on a lot of different levels. Honestly, it's a very strong one. For new players though, it's kind of transcendent, to be honest. Qui-Gon Jinn one, it kind of diminishes in value over time, especially if you can't get your hands on Ki-Adi-Mundi, but he uses a lot of characters that are easy to get in the game and characters that are going to be used pretty often, and you're going to want to farm them anyways. And so he makes use of characters you already have, and he destroys teams that hit or that take bigger hits, and yeah, he just destroys them. Malgus, of course, he's got his lead. I mean, his lead is just really strong. The rest, his other 2 abilities, they're fine, but his lead is the one that empowers that entire team to be pretty solid. The Ben one, that's the Force Dyad one, so it's the one that interacts the most with when he dies and Ray dies, etc. It's pretty good. And then Treya's another one that's a new player friendly one, because Treya's super farmable now for new players. If you want to get Treya, you might, depending on your farming path, you might want to wait a little bit to get her. Instead, you can get General Kenobi, or you can get Han. I don't think it's probably going to be wise to farm all 3 of them at once. Maybe you want to, though. And then Reva's lead is just... it's bonkers, guys. It's really strong, really strong. And then, so the do it soon level. So those ones, if you unlock those characters, you want to have an Omicron ready immediately. I mean, maybe if you're a newer player, you don't need to apply one to Treya when she's like gear 6 or something crazy like that. But for the most part, you're going to want to apply them. If you unlock them, you know, Qui-Gon can wait a little bit until you have the team around him. But the idea is apply them as soon as you can, because it's going to make a big impact. The do it soon, it's like, okay, look, you can reprioritize a little bit if you want. Dash and Marin are both here, and honestly, I don't know if Marin's going to. We're gonna have to wait to see till her Omicron or till a Datacron falls off to see if she's still going to be transcendent. Plus, CG is trying to determine if she's too strong right now as it stands. So they might nerf her, or they might buff Jabba or something like that. Dash is another character that if you can get him to relics, you're going to want to put Omicrons on him. And you need to farm Vander Chewie. A lot of people don't farm Vander Chewie. I think that he's an essential early game farm if you're going to be going with Dash, which I think you should, because then you can unlock Starkiller. But this isn't a farming guide. This is just about this relative strength. The Dash one is new player friendly. I should just say, guys, there's almost no point of having his Omicron unless you have Vander Chewie. There's almost 0 point. So you need him. Vander Chewie is like Dash's lifter unit. You absolutely need it, or there's 0 point in having it, to be honest. Savage is really strong. I almost put him on the top level. He's not quite there. A new player friendly. Sure, he solos things in GAC. Really strong stuff. The Starkiller one is almost mandatory. It's the AoE, very strong. The AoE Dispel. I love that one. It looks really weak, but it's really good. Iden is almost going to get moved down, guys. There's too many good Omicrons these days. The other 2 Reva ones, pretty strong, and if you're gonna use her every single match in GAC, those ones are that they're not like, you don't have to have them, but they're pretty good. They are pretty good. Now, the newer one, guys, that you want to be looking at is Rex. Captain Rex is very strong. He helps clones and he helps Phoenix. It's kind of a weird thing because he demands 2 different teams depending on if you're in 5s or in 3s. It's still, with the Datacron that he currently has, he's going to be using Phoenix to kill Galactic Legends. It's going to be a very common occurrence in 5v5 at least. 3v3 not so much, but 5v5 he's still killing stuff with his clones, his triple Rex team. You use Rex and you use the other Rex, and they Rex face. They both wreck face. Otherwise, the other one I do want to point out is Chrysantin. It's a do it soon as long as you have Jabba, and Chrysantin is Relic 8 or higher, because it adds percentage protection to him. And if you're only going to put him at Relic 5, it's just not worth an Omicron to give him a little 40% boost. But once you get to Relic 8 and 9, that's where the numbers really start jumping up, and you really want to do that. Otherwise, we have Afra here. She's only 3v3, but it is so crazy strong for a 3v3 one. I mean, if you've done the work of getting Profundity, Admiral Radis is a pretty good candidate to boost his entire team's hit points, etc. Let's go to the next level, guys. Zam's about to get pushed out of here, unfortunately. Zori's is good enough. It'll stay for a while. Now, the kind of neat one is like, all right, you probably want to apply these eventually. Gosh, look at Hondo's circle. That is disturbing. I'm going to need to get a new one. But for now, we have the other two Malguses. Sure, Malgus, you're going to use him every match. He's so strong. You may as well apply those, right? Rose Omicron is very good in the context of having Zori and the entire Zori squad. You already want the Omicron on Zori before you put one on Rose, but once you do that in 5v5, that team never, ever, ever stops to take a breath. It just deletes people. It's very interesting. It's a good squad. You have the Tuscan Shaman, the Tuscan Chieftain and the Tuscan Raider both have good ones that, depending on what you want, but they're very strong in PvP. For the most part, you can throw the entire tire with Starkiller. That's fine. You don't really need it. Like, this is a whole bunch of stuff that is you can get a lot of bang for your buck with these Omicrons. I love the one on Hondo because you're able to boost your Maul team if you don't have Lord Vader. He's like a poor man's Watt, basically, because he gets so much bonus turn meter that he'll get the first turn usually, and then he can do a special and kind of start the whole turn meter train thing. So Asajj is pretty good only if you're investing in Night Sisters. Now with the one previously with Marin, the Asajj one is very good, but the one with Marin you can apply when Marin is 3 stars, gear 9. It's pretty strong. It's really strong because you're just applying a ton of plague on everyone. The Asajj one is also good. It's not quite as transcendent as that. If you take your Night Sisters pretty seriously, though, you're gonna want that Omicron as well. The Seer one, gosh, how did I miss that? I think Seer should be boosted up 1 from this, guys. I don't have time to go and redo it. Seer, we're gonna see if it's really good or not. I do think it should be boosted up 1 because Malicos is going to really rip a hole through everyone. So that's gonna be our little inside joke here, guys. I might change it on the infographic itself, but I can't change it on the video. That being said, the not super one, it's no secret, these ones aren't great. I did downgrade the First Order TIE Pilot one. I think there are too many things that are jostling for position. Let me go up 1 more, actually, guys, and talk about Saw, because I didn't mention him. Saw Gerrera is... he's not great, he's not wonderful, but he does have a pretty strong team in 3v3 with Kyle Katarn and Cara Dune. It beats, I've lost to it at least once, maybe twice. It's not like a world beater, but if you need one more team to throw on defense so that you have good flexible offense, he's a great candidate for that. First Order TIE Pilot, like I said, he's getting pushed out by a lot of other Omicrons that are probably way more important, like the Tuscan ones. At least the Tuscan Raider one should be put there. The only one on this that I think has a chance of breaking out, well, maybe there's 2. Princess Leia might go really well with Galactic Legend Leia. We don't know her kit yet, but I think it's possible that she'll be really strong with that team. And then if you really want, if the Ewoks are going, like if they get some kind of extra other lifter unit somehow, but other than the Nisa girl, then Chirpa's stock might increase. The other ones are just kind of stuck here. Now, don't apply the Murderbot ones. They're pretty awful. They're for 3v3 only, and they make almost no sense. They're not worth it, an Omicron. For Territory Wars, alright guys, here's one where I'm gonna just admit that I've been wrong about this. Scion of Django, I apologize, bud. He is, in fact, really strong. He'll kill Lord Vader every time. I've said in the past that only Fennec is needed, lead, so you can just use Fennec and bam, and that works, but the win rate is way lower than if you use Scion of Django. So you need the Omicron to make it work. You don't need the other ones necessarily, but you need that one to make it work. And I've said it sucks, and so I actually, and it's useful for a lot of other stuff in Territory Wars as well. It is a good Omicron if you want to win in Territory Wars. So my apologies for that, guys. He is good. He's better than I've said, and I've decided. I mean, We're not. I'm not just gonna. I'm just not. I'm not built to do that, guys. I don't want to just sit here and hold my hands over my ears and say, nope, I'm right, nope, nope, nope. I mean, there's probably other things I have blind spots for, but yeah, Sign of Jingo, definitely good. Fulcrum Ahsoka, really, really strong, guys. I was kind of down on her earlier. Early game, she's amazing. She's like the Wampa of Territory Wars. She'll delete people, and then once you get to the end game, now you have a way to use her on other squads, including that Cal team. So the Calcron, of course, the little pink circle around him just says if you only want to play this if you have Fulcrum Ahsoka, which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right, guys? So otherwise, the Phasma team, great offense team. If you want to put it on defense, don't. Just deny yourself that. I'm going to be putting out a video about Phasma kind of soon. I think I promised that last time I put a video out like this, but I've already taken the steps to start working on it. That I want to start doing a Territory Wars series so I can show you guys how to use some of these really good teams. Mara and Juhani are almost automatic, guys. If your guild takes Territory Wars seriously, and if you have Starkiller, Juhani is Starkiller's Omicron just in Territory Wars. It basically just activates his Omicron. The mechanics are a little bit different, but essentially Juhani makes Starkiller workable in the Territory Wars. Embo is a character that I should have put a little circle around him, because he is the only reason you want to put an Omicron on him is if you have Jabba. But if you have Jabba, you're going to do a good job of destroying your opponents, and it's really nice. He's not good with bounty hunters in Territory Wars. Like, there's a couple weird things you can do with him, but mostly he's just boosting your Jabba team, and he's very good at it. So these other ones, so Trench, the Omicrons are all, it's like, it's not like Trench is an awful character, but the price to make him pretty good is so steep, guys. You put all three of those Omicrons on the 60 materials, that's like 3 months worth for a decent character that kills some stuff. It's very disappointing. Now that his Datacron is gone, he's not nearly as overpowered. It's like, okay, I can't say that they're awful. I can't do that in good conscience. But at the same time, I'm telling you, like, it makes me cringe how much you have to put into him to make him decent. Droideka, however, makes your Grievous team, which you should have had a long time ago, farmed up. And Droideka included, because he's there for the unlock of General Skywalker, he makes that team really strong, and that's something you can do early game. Another good early game for Territory Wars would be like a Pogglecron. If you have Relict Geos, you do need it's kind of an exponential Omicron where it makes them so much stronger the stronger they are, and so you want that one. The 2 Grand Inquisitor ones here, guys, one of them's the lead and one of them's the auto delete a Jedi. The auto delete a Jedi is the one I would lean toward first. Grand Inquisitor is his lead is good unless you see the little purple circle on him. You don't, unless you're gonna have Reva pretty soon. If you have plans to get Reva soon, his lead is garbage, and you probably just you want to avoid it. But if you don't have Reva in sight, then sure, his lead is pretty decent. Hera's is also pretty good. It's actually crazy strong. That's probably the one that rose the most. It used to be in the dumpster, but gosh, with Captain Rex here, it makes her crazy strong. It makes it like, I'm very interested to see how this is all going to, like, I want to apply that one next, to be honest. I want to see how that does in Territory Wars. I should add, guys, the Geos, you can put them on defense for a while. I think Nice Sisters delete them pretty good. The Droideka one, that's a good defensive one. Just drop it and let your opponent worry about it. The last one, guys, and this is another one I owe an apology for, is Sidious. He's stronger than I thought. He's like, I guess he's being described by a lot of people as the Watt of for Sith Eternal of Territory Wars. Like, you don't need to use Watt with him or with Sith Eternal as long as you have Sidious. You know, you kind of want a few other people, but if you read the text of it, he really does boost his team really good. He ramps them up. It's a much stronger Omicron than I'd given him credit for. The Mace one is one that I've always wanted. Eventually I'll get that one as well. Good stuff, guys. And then, of course, Cal is going to be good only if you have the Fulcrum one. Now, a couple steps lower, like it's kind of an extreme, guys. Here, let's go to the main sheet. Like, so you can see the Territory Wars there in the middle, and it's either really good ones at the top or the rest of them are just pretty garbage for the most part. There's not a lot of wiggle room for that. Scion of Jango, this is his. This is the one that has no use against Lord Vader because it gets rid of their protection, but it's like protection on the Lord Vader team is like Lieutenant Dan's legs. It doesn't have any. The Tarful one looks pretty interesting, guys. He does good ramping. Territory Wars has a lot of really good ramping ones. In fact, I really like that aspect of it, but they're Wookiees and they kind of break up a lot of other teams. They're not a priority, guys. The Tarful one, it looks cool. It does. You know, it's also, you have to think of what people are calling the rule of 16. In a territory war, you're going to place 8 teams. You're going to have 8 teams to attack with, 16 total teams. Are those Wookiees one of your top 16 teams? Maybe early game, but if he is, like, what are you doing to make that happen? You're probably getting rid of a CLS team that's going to be more impactful overall. The last Grand Inquisitor one is there, it's fine. Scando, if you really want to overpower your Jabba team, that's fine as well. It's not... It does fine. It's fine. Nothing too crazy. And then a bunch of ones that I really want to work out, but aren't going to. The poor farm boy Luke, man. He has 2 Zetas and an Omicron. You shouldn't apply any of them. Sana, if you have a really overpowered Sana team, some people have some great Scoundrels and Smuggler teams, then the Sana one could be boosted up a little bit, just depending, you know, if you really love your, like, Tuskens just don't, are they part of the top 16? I don't know, especially now that Hera and Rex are here with the Phoenix. I feel like a lot of these teams are just kind of getting pushed out. Nisa is another one. If you read her text, it looks pretty good for Ewoks, but they're still Ewoks, guys. They're Ewoks. They're not going to do that much on offense or defense unless you put a significant amount of relics into them, and even then, your results are not going to be the very best. Alright, so now we have PVE. Oh, and I should say, guys, the Inquisitor, just don't apply any to the Inquisitors. All 5 of them are an insult to Omicrons. Horrible. Now, for PVE, that player versus environment, this is essentially, so the top one, the one that says apply right now, don't apply any of them. You can see, oh, I have to turn my face off for you guys to see. It's just a big open space because I don't think you need any of them desperately. You don't need to apply any right away. You want, so if you get Jedi Cal, all of them look pretty dang strong. I don't think you need any of them unless he really needs them for Zepho or something, but they're okay, I guess. They cost a lot, to be honest, and I feel like that's just not a necessary component to succeeding in territory battles. But, you know, Cassian, he has at least one, maybe a couple missions where he is required in territory battles, so he's kind of good. The Finn one is actually very, very strong if you care about such things, and same with Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn goes really well with Saw Gerrera for the Saw Gerrera mission, if that's something you would be interested in. There are other Saw mission team compositions that you don't need Kyle Katarn's Omicron for, but it's still pretty, it's there if you want it. The Omega one, I just haven't seen any footage of it being good. It seems like maybe it's going to be good on Zepho for the clone mission. I'm not sure. how that's going to go. I haven't given a lot of thought to it, to be honest, so she's just sitting where she's been. Rolo, same thing. I just haven't seen either of them being used that much. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments if you think either of these are really transcendent, but I just don't think that I don't hear one way or another. I hear about Kyle Katarn all the time. I hear about Cassian sometimes. You know, and then of course it's fun to talk about the new Cal Kestis one with 3 Omicrons, but otherwise, alright guys, so we have Karth, and then finally, I'm sorry to do this because I've gotten a ton of value and use out of Boosh, and we just can't do it, guys. Like, it's just not worth, it's not worth the headache, folks. Boosh is not usable anymore. I mean, usable, yes, but it's not worth an Omicron's worth of value for you to be able to get good scores in the raid at this point, because we're going to be restarting the raid pretty soon, and we'll be probably applying the Scout Troopers Omicron. We'll do a video on that eventually, I'm sure, but this is my list, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Which ones did I get totally wrong? I would love to hear it, guys. I'm willing to learn and listen to you guys. I love to hear your perspectives. People have valuable perspectives, and it helps. It really does. It makes me a better player. Hopefully it helps all of us be better players, so I can spread the knowledge and update these lists and keep you guys updated. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.